Hi everybody, welcome back to our SSCMA classes. So let's continue our DT chapter. Okay, we were doing the assessment of company. Let's complete it. Okay, so yes, let's do the very quick revision of tax rates. Okay, of sections. Section 115B was of insurance business, 12.5 years of from life insurance business only. Okay, and 115BA bar of domestic company. What were the rate were of 25%, right? Rate was of 25%, then 10% surcharge, then 4% cess. Okay, but there was one deduction allowed, that was 80JJAA. Okay, let's go for the 115BAA, which is again for the domestic company. Rate was of 22%, 10% surcharge and 4% cess. Okay, and the allowable deduction was of 80JJAA and 80M. Okay, so which company? Okay, let's do one more thing of this section. Okay, that those company who was set up and registered after 1st of March 2016, only that company is going to avail this section benefit 115BA bar. Okay, bar, we are talking about bar, but with the rate 25%. Okay, and what were things written here, that the company which is engaged in manufacturing and all. Okay, do you remember the things which were mentioned in the section? Hope so. Okay, so let's continue the further sections here. Okay, so up to this, hope so everything is clear to you guys. Okay, now let's go for BAB, BAB. Okay, so in section 115 BAB, the company definitely is going for domestic manufacturing company, but only for those company which are incorporated after 1st October 2019 and operate before 1st April 2023. Okay, for those company which is incorporated after again after 1st October 2019, section 115 BAB says only those company which is actually incorporated after 1st of October 2019 and which is operate before the 1st April 2023. Okay, not before and after that. Okay, so yes, the rate is going to be 15%. Yes, the rate is going to be 15%. So can I write, here is what I've written, 15%, 10% surcharge and 4% cess. Don't get confused. Let's go back and do the comparison. Okay, what I told you in this section in 155BA bar, can I say bar? Okay, so for 115 bar BA, which means 25% was the rate, 10% surcharge and 4% cess, right? And in this section the rate was of the 15%, then 10% surcharge and 4% cess. But what is the difference, right? As I told you, the date, right, the setup and register date in this bar only 115BA, okay, and the setup and register date was after 1st day of March, after 1st March 2016. Okay, not before, right? And as compared to this section BAB, BA and BAB mein, the difference is only this in this section 115BAB, domestic company is incorporated after 1st of October 2019 and operates before 1st April 2023, then only the domestic company can avail the benefit in this section. Okay, so yes, this section says taxable rate is going to be 15%, 10% surcharge and 4% cess. Okay, G. But those company which is formed by splitting up or reconstruction, an existing company cannot avail this section. Okay, or they cannot, any company cannot use, any domestic company cannot use any machinery or plant used in India by any other person, any other company. Okay, but there is two exception in this case. Okay, 20% of another's machinery can be used by the company, by the domestic company in this section. Okay, only 20%. Or if the machinery, the plant and machinery is imported from the outside India, okay, in that case, that all machinery would be assumed as it's the new machinery. Okay, it's not going to be counted as the old machinery. Okay, so what is this section saying? BAB, BAB. ठीक है, 115 बाब is saying that the taxable rate is going to be 15%, 10%, 4%. ठीक है जी. And what were the operation and settlement वाला? They are saying incorporated 1st October 2019 and operation should be before 1st of April 2023 से पहले वाला. Okay, okay जी. And they say that it should not be formed by splitting up of the and reconstruction of the company and cannot go for plant and machinery usage used by any other person or company. Okay, but there was two exception, right? So yes, these are the things mentioned. Let's go for what is actually written in this section. Okay, 115BAB of the income tax applies to the new manufacturing company that incorporated after 1st October 2019. जी बिल्कुल ठीक है. And commence their operations before 1st April 2023. जी बिल्कुल ठीक है. These companies can opt to pay tax at a lower rate of 15% plus surcharge and cess on their total income if they fulfill certain conditions. Okay, and the condition to be fulfilled are to avail the benefit under section 115BAB, new machinery, new manufacturing company needs to meet the following condition. Number first, it must incorporated right 1st October 2019 and must commence its operation before 1st April 2023. We know this. Okay, the company must not be formed by splitting up or reconstruction of an existing company. Yes, we know this now. Okay, let's go for the third point. The company must not use any building previously used as a hotel or a convention center. They are also saying that no, this company, the manufacturing company, cannot use any other building used as the hotel or a conventional center. Apart from them, they can go for the use of business. ठीक है, but if the building is purposely specifically used for the hotel and convention center, in that case they cannot go and use this business, the building, right? Then the company must not use any machinery or plant previously used in India, right? They are saying about the India by any other person. The company must not engage in any of the business other than the business of manufacture or production of any of the article or thing. This we know. Okay, this is also the same thing mentioned in Bawala section 115BA. Okay, so yes, so this was new thing for us. So they are saying only those company which is incorporated 1st October 2019 and operates before the 1st April 2023, right? Plant and machinery cannot be used by any other person. It could not be used in this company, for this company, right, for the manufacturing company. And yes, this is the same thing which we already read in Bawala section. The company must not engage in any other business other than the business of manufacture or production of any of the article or things. Okay ji, haan ji. And one more thing, yes, it should not be splitting up or reconstruction of any existing company, right? They cannot continue that company. ठीक है जी. And this was the new thing, that the company must not use any building previously used as a hotel or convention center. Okay, so yes, let's go for the benefits under 115BAB. A new manufacturing company that fulfills the condition mentioned above can opt to pay the tax at a lower rate of 15%. Plus surcharge and cess on the total income. This concessional rate is applicable for the very first 10 years. Let me say it again. This concessional rate is applicable for the first 10 years from the year of commencement of operations. So yes, this is simply clear that for the very first 10 year they can only use this section, BAB wala section, 115BAB wala section. ठीक है. In addition to the lower tax rate, the new manufacturing company can also claim certain other benefit which are as follows. Let's go for the other benefits. No deduction under chapter 6A. Yes, we know this. ठीक है. The same thing is they are saying. No set of a carry forward of loss. Yes, this is the same thing which is mentioned earlier also. ठीक है. No MAT provisions. Yes, we know this. No DDT. ठीक है, which is the company is not required to pay DDT, dividend distribution tax, on the dividend distribution distributed to its shareholder. Okay. Apart from this, the total income of the company should be computed without claiming any deduction under chapter 6A. We know this, except same thing, 80JJ AA wala deduction would be allowed and 80M wala deduction would be allowed, or section 10 AA related to cess. Okay, and this would also be allowed. ठीक है. So can I write 80JJ AA wala section, ठीक है, 80M wala section and 10 AA which is related to cess. ठीक है. Okay, the total income shall be computed without claiming deduction of additional depreciation. Yes, we know this. This is also similar points, so no much confusion है ना. ठीक है. Deduction for the investment allowance is also not allowed. 32AD वाला section. Deduction under section 33AB tea coffee वाला not allowed. ठीक है जी. और deduction 33ABA site reconstruction वाला. ठीक है. Okay. Deduction for the expenditure for the scientific research, again 35 section is not going to be allowed. Deduction under section 35CCD for the agriculture and skill development project वाला not allowed. Or deduction in respect of expenditure specified business under section 35AD. This is also not going to be allowed. ठीक है. The company should not claim any set off or loss and unabsorbed depreciation carry forward for any previous assessment year if such losses is allocated to any of the deduction under chapter 6A except 80AA, double J AA or 10AA, 10AA and ATM वाला भी जी. The company should offer this section by furnishing a prescribed form and the income return for the relevant assessment year. Once exercised, such an option cannot be withdrawn for the subsequent assessment year. Right? So for how much years they have to apply this section? BAB वाला section 10 years. Once this is applied, they cannot withdraw this. Okay, withdrawn from this section. Okay, yes, this is clear. So let's do the very quick revision of this section. Okay. And let's do the comparison also. Okay, what was 115BA saying and 115BAB saying? ठीक है. Let's do all of the comparison. Let's do by these two. Comparing them. So yes, that was saying 1st March 2016, right? Yes, and this is saying 115BAB is saying that 1st October 2019. Okay, it should be incorporated after, but it should be operated before the 1st of April 2023. This is clear. Yes, cannot be by use splitting up or reconstruction of the existing company, right? Cannot use the building of that the hotel wala and convention center wala. ठीक है जी हाँ. And plant and machinery cannot be used. It should not be used. If it is actually used by any other person, it cannot be used in this business. Okay. And yes, one more which is same thing. The company must not engage in any of the business other than the business of manufacturing the article of things and all. ठीक है. Yes, this is clear. Once it is applied, it should be applied for how much years? 10 years. ठीक है. And yes, the same thing is written. The deduction which is not available in this case and that case is similar. ठीक है. वो वाला section में कितना था? Only one deduction 80JJ AA. इस वाले section में 80JJ AA and 80M and plus 10AA वाला. ठीक है. Sales वाला section is going to be available in this case. So yes, other points are similar in these cases. ठीक है. And what were the tax rate? Yes, it's 15%, it's 25%. Same surcharge, same cess and all, everything is same. ठीक है. Yes, so this was the difference. Okay. And what about the BAA वाला section? Same domestic. The company can opt for these sections, okay, but there are some specification which is to be fulfilled, right? In this wala section we know March 2016 and BAB wala there were two things, 1st October 2019 then 1st April 2023. Okay, if it is specified actually following in this specification, in that case they can accept this section. ठीक है. They can imply these sections. Okay. So yes, what was the tax rate of domestic company for 115BAA? BA. ठीक है. First was a BA. ठीक है, which is BA. ठीक है. Second says about the BA 115BAA. ठीक है. Rate was of 22. So there are three tax rate for the domestic company, right? First 25. Second 22 and third 15. Okay, if they are specifically following in that category, in that case they can go for this. ठीक है. They can opt this. Okay, this tax rate and all. ठीक है. And take, but they cannot go for the other deduction and all. ठीक है जी. हाँ जी. So hope so up to this everything is clear now. No as such complication was there, no confusion was there. ठीक है. Okay, there was so some other points mentioned here. So let's go for it. Following condition must be satisfied. The company has been set up and registered after years, we know this, and commenced manufacturing production of the article on or before the, yes, we know this. ठीक है. Yes, this is the same thing which is mentioned. ठीक है. It should not be, yes, splitting and reconstruction, we know this. Okay, plant and machinery should be new. But as I told you, there was exception or this point, there are two exceptions. 20% of the total plant and machinery can be the second hand, and second, import of plant and machinery shall be treated as the new plant and machinery. Okay, it should not be used any building previously used as hotel or convention. Same thing. ठीक है जी. Okay, so there is no as much important things, so I have mentioned here. Okay, so in this section there are few more things mentioned. Let's go for it. Manufacturing income, as I told you, it's going to be taxable at the rate of 15%, 10% surcharge and 4% cess. Okay, for the short term capital gain depreciable asset on in case of non depreciable asset, the rate is going to be the same, 15%, 10%, 4%. But let's talk about the non-depreciable asset. It's going to be 22% plus 10% surcharge and 4%. Okay, so in case of asset, this is specified, the category is made for the short term capital gain. Okay, if it is depreciable asset, in that case what is going to be tax rate? Same, because as the section says 15%, 10%, 4%. But if it's it's not the depreciable asset, which means non-depreciable asset, in that case what is going to be the tax rate? 22%, 10%, 4%. Hope so this point was clear. Income covered under section 12, special income under section 111A, 112, 112A, etc. Special rate plus 10% plus 4, same thing. Okay, and this is going to be surcharge and 4% is going to be cess, and the special rate, what is the rate under these sections, okay, mentioned, is going to be same. Okay, excess profit computed by the AO under section 115B AB subsection 2, 30%, 10%, 4%. Okay, 30% is the tax rate, 10% surcharge and 4% cess. For the other income from the house property, income from the other sources, no deduction allowable expenditure under section 2457. So what is going to be tax rate? 22%, 10%, 4%. Okay, so these are the things which we have to keep in mind. So yes, this was not that tough, I think so. Okay, and there was no confusion in BA bar and BAA bar and BAB BAB. Okay, so 25%, then 22%, then 15%. If they are falling in that category, then in that case a domestic company can go for the tax rate and claim the deduction. Yes, they can only get some of the deduction only. Okay, not that remaining sections wale, not additional depreciation they cannot claim and all. Okay, so let's go for the section 115 BAC. Okay, बस करो बस, ठीक है, बस, let's say it, ठीक है. This is tax on income for the individual HUF, AOP, BOI and AJP. Okay, so can I say this is just not for cooperative society, as I mentioned above here, it's not, this section is not for cooperative society. ठीक है, so yes, BAC, बस करो जनाब, बस करो, this is just for individual HUF, AOP, BOI and AJP. ठीक है, under this section what is going to be the tax rate? I'll tell you one thing, there was the question from this section. Okay, at last from this June attempt, I'm saying 2024 June attempt. Okay, so I'll tell you this chapter is really very much important. If you leave this chapter, trust me guys, you're going to, you're going to leave so many questions and all, you're not going to get marks. Okay, so please go for this chapter seriously and sincerely. It's my advice to you. Okay, so let's go for it. Under the section BAC wala section, give individual and HUF taxpayer an option to pay a tax, income tax at the lower rate with the fewer exemption and deduction to claim. Special rate would be taxable at that special rate. So ठीक है, special income would be taxable at the special rate which is mentioned in that section, which is section 115A, 112, 112A, 111A, ठीक है, 112 and 112A, ठीक है. So let's go for what are the income, total income, and what is going to be the tax rate. ठीक है, up to 3 lakh it's going to be nil, as we know, right? वो 2,50,000 to 5 lakh to 10, ठीक है, 5%, 20% and 30%. More than 10 lakh वाला is going to be 30%. That was the old, ठीक है, old tax rate scheme, ठीक है. But this in under 115 BAC. Okay, this is saying up to 3 lakh no tax is going to be matlab tax rate is going to be nil. Okay, so if it exceed more than 3 lakh to 6 lakh, so let me make it very simpler way, like up to 3 lakh definitely it's going to be nil. Then we are going to add the 3 lakh income, ठीक है, 3 plus 3 is going to be 6, right? So up from more than 3 lakh 1, which is more than 3 lakh, right? So 3 lakh to 6 lakh is going to be 5%. Okay, 3 lakh to 6 lakh is going to be 5%. For tax rate we are going to add 555%. Up to 20% we are going to add 555%. ठीक है जी. And for the income we are going to add 3. ठीक है जी. So let's go for up to 3 lakh is going to be nil, 3 to 6 is going to be 5, 6 lakh to 9 is going to be 10%. ठीक है, 9 lakh to 12 it's going to be 15%, 12 lakh to 15 lakh it's going to be 20%, and once it reach 20% then we are going to add 10%, ठीक है, which means 30% is going to be maximum tax rate, and the income should be above 15 lakh. So let's say it for up to 3 lakh the tax rate is going to be nil na. Yes जी, from 3 lakh which means more than 3 lakh, 3 lakh 1 rupee, ठीक है जी, 3 lakh to 6 lakh it's going to be कितना percent, 5%. As I told you we are going to add 3 lakh in the income wala part, and 5% is going to be added in this tax rate wala portion, ठीक है. So from 6 lakh to 9 lakh if the income falls under this category, then what is going to be taxable rate is going to be 10%. Then 9 lakh to 12 lakh it's going to be 15%, and 12 lakh to 15 lakh it's going to be 20%, and if the income exceeds 15 lakh in that case 30, ठीक है, 30%. Once the income cross this 15 lakh then in that case 30% is going to be taxable rate. Yes, hope so up to this is clear now. But there are something which is mentioned here, that as we know that there were so many deduction available in case of old tax rate schemes and all, but in this case so many things are not allowable, ठीक है, to the individual HGF and all, ठीक है. So let's go and check out what are the things. Definitely that standard deduction of 50,000 is going to be available in both the cases, right? Yes, so let's go for it guys. Let's see what is mentioned, the deduction which is not allowable and which is allowable in this section. BAC, section 115 BAC. The standard deduction of 50,000 has been extended to the new tax regime as well. Yes, as I told you, this part is also available as a deduction, standard deduction of 50,000. The highest surcharge of 37 has been reduced to 25%. Okay, earlier in old tax regime the highest tax surcharge was 37. In this case 25% is the highest, okay. Under the new tax regime, the move impact taxpayer earning more than 5 crore. As a result, their overall tax rate will decrease from 42.74 to 39. ठीक है, there are the various exemption and deduction under section BAC as was mentioned in the previous section. However, the key one that has been cancelled under the new tax regime are as follows. First of all, the professional tax and entertainment tax. Let me take a highlighter guys. Okay, the professional tax and the entertainment allowance on the salary is not going to be allowable. ठीक है, earlier we know for government employees this was allowed, professional tax and all, ठीक है, but in this case this is not going to be allowed. Okay, so HRA in as we know, as once we were computing income from house rent, ठीक है, this interest under section 24 was allowed as deduction, standard deduction was also allowed, ठीक है, and set off of house property, right, as we know set off of house property loss can be set off from another head also, and that was limit was up to 2 lakh. Now it cannot be set off, ठीक है, it cannot be set off from any head. Okay, so what is they are saying that professional tax wala is not allowed as deduction, entertainment tax is not allowed as a deduction. Yes, this for the house property 24 section 24 is not going to be allowed, ठीक है जी, interest वाला part, ठीक है, and set off of house property from any other head is not allowable, ठीक है जी. Interest on housing road on self occupied property on this is also not allowable under section 24 as I told you, ठीक है. Yes, minor child income allowance is not going to be allowable in this case. Children education allowance is not going to be allowable. Standard deduction under section 80 TTAA TTB saving wala, ठीक, it's not going to be allowable. Leave travel allowance is not allowed. Helper allowance not allowed. Other special allowance under section 1014 subsection 14 is not going to be allowed. Donation to political party, right, this is also not going to be allowed, ठीक है. So can I say majorly which we were taking deduction, right, ATC, ATA wala, wo wala, ATG wala deduction and all, in this case in new tax regime we cannot claim these deduction. There is a major change, but there is one relief that the tax rates are less as compared to earlier. Okay, so yes, we can get benefit in this case. Okay, so yes, so hope so this part was clear. Let me say it again. The professional tax and the entertainment tax not going to be allowable. For house property, the standard deduction 24 section not allowable, cannot claim, cannot set off from any other head. The loss from the house property cannot be set off from the any other head. Minor child wala allowance not allowable, children's education allowance not allowable, 80 TTB and A wala, it's not saving wala. Okay, leave travel helper allowance not allowable, and special allowance not going to be allowable. Okay, donation to political parties not even allowable. Okay, so chapter 6A deduction, but there are some exception. They are saying first of all ये वाला तो नहीं मिलेगा. So कौन सा वाला मिलेगा? Exception is this again, 80J double A. ठीक है, 80 double J double A is going to be allowable. 80 CCD subsection 2 वाला, okay, and 80 CCH subsection 2 वाला and 80 LA. These are the only section where we can claim the deduction. Okay, 80 double J double A, okay, 80 CCD subsection 2, 80 CCH subsection 2 and 80 LA. These are the section where we can claim the deduction. Okay, and these cannot be allowable. Okay, so let's go for something which can be benefited in this section. Okay, so as I told you, 50%, 50,000 wala standard deduction is allowable. Yes, deduction from family pension income up to financial year 22-23, from 23-24 it is allowed as deduction. So family pension, for family pension, yes, that is allowable. Okay, standard deduction of rupees 50,000 up to financial year 22-23, from financial year 23-24 it is allowed a deduction. ठीक है, transport allowance, let me clear. ठीक है, as they were saying there was no leave travel allowance. ठीक है, as they were saying no travel allowance was allowable, leave travel allowance. ठीक है, but how they are saying this, that transport allowance is allowed, but I'll tell you this transport allowance is only allowed to differently abled person, special abled person. ठीक है, so differently abled person, this transport allowance is received by this person, differently abled person. In that case only they can take the deduction of transport allowance. Conveyance allowance to meet the conveyance expenses incurred by employment part. Okay, so yes, conveyance allowance, okay, this is also allowed. Daily allowance received to meet the ordinary regular charges incurred due to the absence from the duty or duty from the perquisite of official purpose and an employee's contribution to NPS account. ठीक है, of 80 CCD subsection 2. So these are the things where we can claim in this section. ठीक है, so कौन सा वाला section? Let's BAC वाला section. ठीक है, let's do the quick revision. ठीक है, what were the income? 3333 lakh. ठीक है, 5555%. Once it is up to 20% taxable rate, then it's going to be 30%. Okay, and what was the rate amount? Above 15 lakh. Okay, that was the last. If it exceeds 15 lakh, in that case what is going to be taxable rate? 30%. Yes, hope so this is clear. And this is not for the cooperative society other than them, which means it is for individual HEF, AOP, MBO, EJP. ठीक है जी, हाँ जी. And for the special income is going to be that rate which is mentioned in that sections. Okay, yes. So yes, these are the section deduction which is not allowable in this section. Yes, but there are some few which says 50,000 of standard deduction. ठीक है, हाँ जी. And वो family pension वाला is allowed. ठीक है जी, हाँ. Okay, and differently abled के लिए transport allowance, ठीक है, if it is received by them. ठीक है, and conveyance allowance, ठीक है, to meet the expenses incurred as employment part and with that daily allowance. ठीक है, okay जी, which is related to these things. ठीक है, yes, so this is allowed. Other things are not allowed in this section. There were exceptions also. Yes, they are the exception. They are saying 80 double J double A, ठीक है, 80 CCD subsection 2, 80 CCH subsection 2 and 80 LA is going to be allowable. ठीक है, so except these no deduction is allowed. Okay, so yes, hope so this point was cleared. Okay, so what was the tax rate? Tax rate in this case BAC wala, as I told you have to tell me in the comment section. So let's go for the 115 BAD. It's going to be, for this section is specifically for cooperative society. The tax rate is going to be 22%. 22%. Now you have to tell me, there was some any other section which were also having this tax rate? Yes, we know this, and you have to comment below which was the section. Okay, so let's go for the and this section is similar, okay, which we have already read. The condition is going to be same. Okay, so notwithstanding anything contained in the act but the subject to the provision of this section, chapter 76, other than those mentioned under section 115 BAE, which means there is one more section, okay, and that section is also related to cooperative society. The income tax payable in respect of total income of a person being a cooperative society resident in India for any previous year relevant to the assessment year beginning on after 1st April 2021. 1st April 2021. So they are saying the assessment, the relevant, let me say it again, for any previous year relevant to the assessment year beginning on or after 1st April 2001. Take it 2021 shall be opt of a person be computed at the rate of 22%. कितना percent? 22%. ठीक है, hope so this part was clear. Okay, and condition contained in subsection 2 are satisfied, provided that where the person fails to satisfy the condition contained in subsection 2 in the computing of income in any of the previous year, the option shall become invalid. Okay, so these are the same thing which is mentioned, as I told you, these section which is not going to be available, right? Same thing, same deduction is not going to be available for 32 AD, 32 A, 33 AB, ABA and all. Okay, so this is the same thing, but exception other than 80JJAA. पहला वाला सेक्शन की जैसा ही है ना, they are saying the same thing, but the tax rate was 25% in that case. बा वाला सेक्शन, this is BAD, बैड वाला सेक्शन. ठीक है, सो कैन आई से बैड आई. ठीक है जी, नहीं बैड नहीं है, बैड नहीं है. ठीक है, 22% इज द टैक्सेबल रेट. ओके, सेम थिंग इज मैंशनड. ठीक है, दैट प्रोविजन विच वर कंडीशंस एंड ऑल विच वॉज मैंशन इन दैट सेक्शन, बा वाला सेक्शन इज सेम फॉर दिस. ओके, एक्सेप्शन 80JJA. ठीक है, सेम अदर and all other things are mentioned which is same. ठीक है, so hope so you can read it. If there is any problem let me know. ठीक है जी, लेट्स गो फॉर बे वाला सेक्शन नाउ. 115 BAE, बे वाला सेक्शन, अबे नहीं बे. ठीक है, ओके, सो व्हाट इज गोइंग टू बी टैक्सेबल रेट? इट्स गोइंग टू बी 15%. दिस इज द सेम थिंग फॉर वूम cooperative society, but there is again same condition mentioned for last section. You have to comment below which is the section, because there is the same thing mentioned earlier in one of the section. ठीक है, the condition are the cooperative societies have been set up and registered on or after 1st October 2019 and it should be operated before 31st/3/2024, मतलब 1st April 2024 and all. ठीक है, which is again यही same. Not the business should not be formed by splitting and reconstruction, cannot use machinery and plant and machinery which is used by any other person. And what was the exception? Outside wala, ठीक है, 20%, and these are the same deduction which cannot be allowed. Okay जी, हाँ जी. And yes, this is main thing which let me read it. ठीक है, for the removal of the doubts, it is clearly clarified that the business of the manufacture and the production of any article or things related to shall not include the business. First of all, development of the computer system and media and all, this cannot be included in the production and manufacturing of articles. ठीक है, and mining, conversion of the marble blocks or similar item into slab, bottling of gas into cylinder, printing of books or production of cinematographic film or any other business as may be notified by the central government in this behalf. Okay, so yes, hope so this was clear. Let me not take it so long, otherwise we will get confused. ठीक है, so yes, so BAE, this was the last section. ठीक है, so what I told you in this section, let's do the revision, है ना, वरना confusion हो जाएगा बहुत ज़्यादा. So yes, I'll be very quick. Okay, so yes, in this section 115B, which was for the life insurance, 12.5%, for the other income other than the life insurance business wala, normal टैक्स स्लेब, ठीक है ना, ठीक है जी, ओके। फॉर बा वाला सेक्शन, डोमेस्टिक कंपनी, ठीक है, बट द कंपनी विच इज सेट अप एंड रजिस्टर आफ्टर 1st March 2016, only for those company can only avail for this benefit, and the company should not engage in any other product or business which is other than the manufacturing and production of the article and all. Research should be only related to that, ठीक है जी। एंड व्हाट वाज द रेट, 25%, 10% एंड 4%। दिस डिडक्शन इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी अवेलेबल, ठीक है, बट ओनली 180 डबल जी डबल ए, यस, ठीक है। देन व्हाट वाज द सेकंड बा वाला सेक्शन, बा, ठीक है, रेट इज गोइंग टू बी 22, 10, 4, ठीक है जी। सेम डिडक्शन इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी अवेलेबल, ठीक है, बट two of the exception 80 डबल जी डबल ए एंड 80M, ठीक है जी, ओके जी, एंड नथिंग एल्स, ठीक है, नथिंग मोर इन दिस सेक्शन, यस। BAB, बाब वाला सेक्शन, सो दिस सेक्शन सेज टैक्स रेट is going to be 15%, not 25, not 22. This is going to be 15%. But same, there were some of the exception, like they cannot use this by splitting up of the business or reconstruction. Same वाला था, अभी जो मैंने पढ़ाया था ना, this is the same thing, right? ओके, एंड नॉट एग्जिस्टिंग वाला, मशीनरी वाला, होटल वाला, ठीक है जी, एंड प्रोडक्शन एंड रिलेटेड टू दैट, ठीक है जी, ओके जी। 15% फॉर हाउ मच ईयर, 10 ईयर, दे कैन नॉट बी विड्रॉन वन इट्स एक्सेप्टेड और अडॉप्टेड और इम्प्लीमेंटेड, ठीक है जी, हाँ। द एक्सेप्शन वॉज 80 डबल जे डबल ए, ओके, 80M एंड वन मोर 10 डबल ए वाला विच इज रिलेटेड टू सेस, ओके, होप सो दिस इज ऑल्सो क्लियर, ठीक है। एंड एक्सेप्शन वी नो वो प्लांटेड मशीन वाला 20% एंड आउटसाइड, from if it is from outside India, in that case, yes, it would be applied as new plant and machinery, okay. So yes, these are the some sections, matlab other rates for them, ठीक है, for this section. And let's go for BAC, ठीक है, for BAC, what was the rate? This is not for cooperative society, it's for individual, HAF, AOP, BOA and EJP, ठीक है। what was the rate? Rate is going to be the different rate, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30. And what was this amount? 3 up to 3, no, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, 9 to 12, 12 to 15, more than 15 is going to be 30, ठीक है जी, हाँ जी। And yes, there were some things which were where we cannot get the benefit of the deduction which we were taking in old tax regime, right? In new tax regime we cannot take it, ठीक है। But yes, apart from 80 double J double A, right, 80 CCD subsection 2, 80 CCH subsection 2 and 80 LA, we can go for this, ठीक है। and there was some of the deduction, standard deduction 50,000 is allowable, ठीक है जी, हाँ जी। ट्रांसपोर्ट डिसेबल वाले के लिए, ओके जी, एंड NPV वाला डेली अलाउंस, कन्वेंस अलाउंस, ओके, एंड फैमिली पेंशन ऑल्सो, ओके। सो बैड वाला सेक्शन 115 BAD, this is for the cooperative society, 2 section BAD and BAE, bad and bay, ठीक है। this for this it was 22%, right? and same thing of the condition are mentioned in this section, okay, nothing more, okay, so yes, so for bay it's going to be 15%, yes, ठीक है। same things are again mentioned, October 2019 before 1st of April 2024, yes, ठीक है, 23, राइट, वो इसमें 24, ठीक है, एंड नथिंग एल्स, yes, such machinery should be, if it is imported from outside, in that case it would be new, ठीक है, it would be assumed that new machinery, same conditions, nothing more, ठीक है। so up to this, hope so everything is cleared, ठीक है। make your own notes and go for each and everything, guys, you know, from this particular chapter there were so many questions come in this June attempt, so in this again upcoming exam December attempt we are going to expect more questions from this section, okay, from this particular chapter, okay, and we'll be confused, definitely we'll be confused if we have not done the regular revisions and all. So go for the questions, guys, go for the section first of all, then go for the questions, okay, then things will be more easier for us. So hope so it was clear to you. If it was, what you have to hit a like button, subscribe my channel and share this video to those who are doing CA, CS, CMA aspirants, ठीक है। and yes, I was quick, definitely we have to cover this chapter ना, तो I have to be quick ना, okay। तब तक के लिए खुश रहिए, मस्त रहिए, पढ़ते रहिए और बिंदास रहिए ना, and we'll meet in the next video। तब तक के लिए क्या करना है, हाँ बिल्कुल, okay, to guys।